Cabinet members, lawmakers, political operatives, and commentators are facing a dose of public shaming in the era of Trump. Over the weekend, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell got his share of harassment in his home state of Kentucky. McConnell was heckled outside a Louisville restaurant by angry protesters chanting, "Vote you out," and "Where are the babies?" It's the second time in weeks that McConnell has been confronted like this. And over the weekend, former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon was reportedly browsing in a Richmond, Virginia bookstore where he was repeatedly berated and called a piece of trash by a customer. The bookstore owner, who did the right thing by calling the police, quickly had his contact information published by a former Hillary Clinton aide, Philip Reines. And of course, in June, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders was asked to leave the Virginia restaurant Red Hen because the owner said Sarah works for President Trump. While you were enjoying your family barbecue over the 4th of July holiday, famed Harvard law professor and self-described liberal Democrat Alan Dershowitz says he was shunned from Martha's Vineyard social circles for defending President Trump over the Russia special counsel investigation. In an op-ed last week for The Hill, Dershowitz wrote, "I never thought I would see McCarthyism come to Martha's Vineyard, but I have." Poor Alan. So where do we go from here? Back to the table. I wonder, Dave, is this insane? The idea that a business owner cannot ask the police to come to remove an unruly customer in his own place of business without getting harassed by a top Hillary official on Twitter?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I don't know what else to add to that. Yes, this is all insane and it can't go anywhere good. But, you know, civility, that's 2014
It's
talk.
so 5 minutes ago.
Do you think it's all insane, though? I mean, there are policies taking place in this company. The block before us was about children being separated from their parents. People are angry. People are scared. You and I know from being on Twitter that people feel like no one's listening to them, and if they scream the loudest at you, then you will hear
terrible.
them. And I think that is now moving off from online to offline.
Yeah.
And people, when they see someone in a position of power, are trying to break through and say, this is not normal, and this can't become normal. Now, so civility may be at risk, but I think you have to ask if civility is the single most important thing, or if actually...
But before that, is it effective? Is Philip Reines tweeting out the address of this bookstore for someone to now presumably not go there or go there and protest? Is that solving anything?
I'm less interested in the efficacy of that than I am in the efficacy of people shouting at a person in a position of power. I mean, I do wonder, does that break through, or does that just add to the chaos? But I think what it shows you is that people are truly upset. People are angry.
I get they're upset. Aren't they making these...
But that's all fine and good.
Villains heroes? Aren't they making them sympathetic?
You mean to their own, to members of their own base?
Even to people who might not be inclined to be supportive of someone like Sarah Sanders or Steve Bannon. Is this having, in fact, the opposite effect?
Look, I don't think the quote-unquote resistance cares about that, and I'm not entirely sure it should at this point. I think they look at it as playing by Trump's rules, and I'm not entirely sure they shouldn't look at it that way. If you're going to wrestle in the mud, you can't be afraid of getting dirty, and that's where we are right now. I don't like that that's where we are
Sure,
right now,
but
that's where we are. But
to what end?
But people keep saying...
You think that winning the presidency is going to happen by people tweeting to ban a bookstore?
No, but how do you...
Bannon attended it?
But how do you tell people not to act a certain way when that way seems to be working? Donald Trump acted like a child, and instead of telling him no, we elected him president.
Show me how it's working for anyone besides Donald Trump.
But that's not the point. If a child acts up and then gets what he wants, how do you then tell his brother or sister, oh, you shouldn't act that way?
But it is the point. I get it. What works for Trump works for Trump and no one else. How is it working?
But not doing that isn't working.
Right, but
these aren't. It's not binary. It's not. These are the only two options to defeat Donald Trump: blow up someone's bookstore on Twitter, or
no, that's
be polite.
Stupid. That part is.
Yeah, but
so what is the answer?
I reject the idea that this is such a unique moral outrage that now it's acceptable for people to, like, you know, harass somebody in the street or something like that. I mean, look, you can do what you want at a business. I think publishing someone's information is like way over the line. But if any like libertarian group was chanting "you're a killer" to Obama for his drone program, which I would say is much more of a moral outrage than even what's going on at the border is today. I don't think the left would have, like, embraced it. It seems to me that they're playing politics with this stuff, and this is the team that they don't like. That's why they're into this.
No, sure. I just don't think it's all that strategic. I think it looks desperate. And believe me, I am no Trump supporter. I don't think this is going to be effective in the end. You can't convince me, I'd like you to,
I'm not here to convince
No, but I want to understand if there's a plan. Maxine Waters telling people to go and yell at someone and say they have no place here or anywhere. Tell me how that gets you from A to B.
I can't speak to the efficacy of it.
Yeah.
What I can say is that I think when you talk about civility, you can't act as though civility is the primary objective of living in a society. And I think that when you take a step back, you're assessing whether or not these policies are moral, whether they match where we want to be and who we are as a country. And so we're sitting here talking about civility when, you know, their kids who are separated from their parents.
No, I think that's completely fair. And it's not, the question to me is not, okay, but we have to put civility first. That's a straw man. My question is, okay, throwing civility out the window.
Is it effective?
Yeah, what's it getting you?
I think it gets...
And I don't mean you.
No, it gets you 7 minutes on cable television.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
Can we just turn real quick to the real victim in all of this, Alan Dershowitz's social life?
Yes.
Just a moment of silence.
You are telling me in 2018, look, I don't get outraged very often, but the fact that in 2018, Alan Dershowitz cannot get an invitation to a party in Martha's Vineyard, if that's not outrageous, I don't know what that word means. Also, can we not with the McCarthyism comparisons anymore?
Yeah, that's going a little too far.
It's like the new Nazi comparisons. It's like, just stop. This isn't McCarthyism.
Yeah, you're not losing your job. You're not, you know, your livelihood's not at stake. I'm sure you're going to
Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. He seems to be doing very well for himself professionally while defending Trump.